Oh, it is time for another chapter of Nighthawk by Jamie Bastido. Today is chapter 26, Flair's Plan, which is taking place on the Alberta Prairie, because besides Edmonton and Calgary, which I think are the two other places in Alberta, let me check. Oh, no, also Athabasca River. And tar sands apparently later, which is great. There's nothing in between, just so you know. Yeah. So Alberta Prairie, chapter 26. Gusty winds hammer Flair's squadron. Any weaker birds might be knocked clear across the prairies, but his crack team of guardians punches through the turbulence, driven on by a constant stream of threats and abuse from their commander. That's, like, poor leadership, I feel, but maybe he disagrees. "If I can go 3 days without sleep, so can you," Flair shouts. "Of course, sir," says Stryker, who as usual flies precisely 2.5 wing lengths behind and to the left of Flair. As usual. Like the rest of his panting squadron members, he struggles to hold on to his assigned flight position. Flair's punishing pace pushes the Guardians to the limit. His notorious diamond-shaped flock is beginning to fray at the edges. "Sir? Perhaps a bloodied feather," Flair pauses, starts to hum a cheery tune. "No, I think a leg or beak would be more convincing. We hand our prize over to Arwen, and Kilree! I'm Principal Guardian. My first duty, kick the old dame off her stump and end this messy business of migration." That's okay, that's not how it works. "I beg your pardon, sir? Wouldn't you agree that our queen has worked hard for us all, Stryker?" "Undoubtedly, sir. And wouldn't you say she deserves a long vacation and maybe even early retirement?" "I suppose so, sir. Well, you could have my old job as squadron leader." Thank you, sir." "Once that battle axe is gone, we establish the Amazon's first year-round colony of Nighthawks." "You mean, sir, we would not migrate?" "You're finally showing some promise, Stryker. But, sir, but what?" "Well, sir, migration is basic to our survival." "Yeah, good job. It's as much a part of us as our feathers." "Cute, Stryker, but not true. Migration means death. Death by starvation, predation, storms, poisoning, crashing into towers and buildings. We almost lost half the colony during last fall's south crossing. Keep that up, and in a few years, well, you can do the math. You call that survival?" I don't know, sir. It'll be good for the colony, Stryker, you'll see. But what about food, sir? All the insects we need?" "When the supply of fire ants gets low inside, we allow closely supervised bug hunts beyond the refugium. Sounds really sustainable." "And, sir, all the space you'll need to nest?" "We learn to nest side by side, bill to bill, in true community spirit." "I've thought it all through, Stryker. It's quite doable with the right birds in charge. This feels like kind of communist, but also not. And I don't know if Jamie Bastido is trying to find like a political point that he's making here. I don't know what's going on." And that would be Guardians, of course. Only we have the strength and discipline to usher in this new era of safety and abundance. After a few no-fly seasons, the idea of migrating every spring and fall back and forth, suffering and dying, all that will become nothing more than a bad dream. Those who don't see the benefits for the colony— "You mean, sir, those who don't obey?" "That's right. We can expect some resistance from the plebes." "And the royals, sir?" "No doubt. The blind who can't see the benefits of a year-round colony, who scoff at the idea, will be fed to maggots." "Maggots, sir?" "Yes, another secure source of food for all. Maggots." "Yes, of course. They're quite delicious if you haven't tried them. I plan to establish maggot farms in and around the refugium." Maggot farms. I really like Stryker a lot. He's like all of us, I feel. He's being very sarcastic right now. Maggots? Are you serious right now about maggots? "Yes, Stryker maggot farms, they are the key to our colony's future. A safe and happy future, rooted forever in the Amazon. Stryker, I'm talking about the end of hunger, the end of migration, the end of suffering. The birth of true freedom for Nighthawks. Guardian Nighthawks, that is. Besides, maggot fodder will have no use for plebes." "As navigators, you mean?" "Correct, Stryker. Who needs navigators when you don't need to go anywhere? Gradual plebiscide may be the best way to serve the colony's long-term interests." Okay, so not so much on the communism side there. Plebiscide. Has a nice ring to it, don't you think? Stryker slips several wing lengths behind his commander. He drifts in stunned silence, wrapped in an airstream tainted by Flair's skunky breath. At the sound of Flair's voice, he shoots back into position. So you see, Stryker, it's very, very important that we capture this vagrant. Understood, sir. Flair clenches his beak. Only then will I be made principal guardian. Only then will all guardians be united under me. Isn't that his entire role already? Like, he's in charge of the guardians? Only then will we rise up and gain power to offer this great gift to the colony. The gift of freedom and eventual death by plebiscite. If you say so, sir. I know so, Stryker, trust me. Flair's plan for a guardian revolt leaves Stryker gasping for air. Not Flair. The very thought of Wisp boosts his speed. He feeds off his hatred, gaining as much energy from it as a belly full of horseflies. He lifts his beak and leads the squadron higher yet, 20, 25, 30,000 wing beats above the prairie farmlands. His eyes glaze over as he finally levels off. His oxygen-starved brain runs wild with visions of glory, ambushing Wisp at Great Slave Lake. How do birds have human words for things? Like, remember at the very beginning when they weren't calling things by their normal names because they were fucking birds, and now they have, like, Great Slave Lake? This is something that birds know, apparently. Clamping his big feet around his throat. Oh, what? Oh, that was a full sentence. About Wisp. Savoring Wisp's howls as he's forced to watch his sister's eyes plucked out by ravens, feeding him 2 maggots. Flair's bright visions fade into black, his eyes shut completely, his heavy body tumbles out of control. He is vaguely aware of strong winds breaking his fall, ferrying him out of the sky, setting him down beside a prairie pond. His head feels like it's been crushed by eagle claws. He winces to the grinding squeal of yellow-headed blackbirds. He opens his eyes to the whistling of duck wings. A ring of stone-faced guardians stares down at him. What are you gawking at? He grunts. Stryker! Stryker, where are you? Stryker flutters into view above the circle of gilded birds. Right here, sir. What in dirt's name are we doing on the ground? Okay, again, do they have a concept of, like, the fact that we say in God's name? And if so, B, do they worship dirt? Questions. You had strict orders to get us to the boreal forest as fast as goddamn possible. Again, this is a children's book. Just checking for landmarks, sir. None in sight, but I believe we're still on target. You believe we're on target? Well, you know, sir, how difficult it is to navigate without plebe. Forget plebes! They're steering for extinction, and it begins once we catch that Wisp. How long to Yellowknife? At this rate, another couple of days, sir. Flair flips his wings, tries to stand up, and teeters over. 40 wings reach out to break his fall. Flair pushes them away. A couple of days? Stryker, we have a very slippery vagrant to catch, and no one snoozing through the night. With a non-stop advance, we can cut our own time in half. We're going to beat that loser at his own game. Are you getting the picture, Stryker? Understood, sir, but may I suggest we stop at this pond to feed? There's a fresh hatch of caddisflies, and our progress can only improve if— Suck it up, Stryker. You can eat your fill when we have Wisp in our claws. Go grab me some of those caddisflies so I can fly us out of here. He's the one who fell. Like, it wasn't the rest of them. What is his deal, guys? I don't get it. Right away, sir. Stryker wheels shakily out of view. Flair opens his beak to shout another order, then clamps it shut when a dark form glides silently over the squadron, straight for Stryker. He hears a nasty thud, an urgent rustling of dry cattails, then a nasty ripping sound. The tearing of Nighthawk flesh. Red-tailed hawk, sir, says rearguard Lance, who flutters just above the cattails. Doesn't look good. Flair manages to stand up. Serves him right for defying orders? Was he defying orders? Now, who'd like a promotion to chief investigator? Flair. I feel like Jamie is trying way too hard to make us hate Flair, and it was unnecessary for him to be this big of a jerk. But that is the end of chapter 26, and I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any comments on how birds are aware of human words or human religious phrases or things like that, please let me know, because I'm concerned that Jamie is losing his mind. See you later.